Welcome back. Now we'll be delving into the matter of the new ministers, the state of the nation, and some other developments in Kano State and beyond. I'll be joined now by Mr. Ibrahim Garba, Iceman. He is a policy analyst, an APC stalwart, and he was is the SA media to AA Zara, or the 2023 senatorial candidates for Kano State. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you very much for having me once again.
It's good to have you.
Thank you. Yes.
So there's a lot to cover. So let me just get your basic overview. The ministers have been sworn in. They've assumed office. What's your take on what we're saying? The ministers and the portfolios that we're given. Do you think that it's a job well done, or what are your expectations and prospects?
Well, let me start by saying this. First of all, let me congratulate Nigerians for this development, because for long, a lot of people say, when will the list be released for the ministers designate? And now we have about 45 of them, as the last count of 44 thereabouts. And again, I'll commend Mr. President, for taking his time to study through the memos that were sent to him. It's not just the minister's release, it's about the quality which we have now. Going down history, Mr. President very well, is somebody who identifies talents wherever they are. Is somebody that rewards hard work, is somebody that is patriotic, is somebody that have this country at the back of his mind. So I'm not surprised with the names we have and those that form the cabinet of this administration. It shows that the renewed hope agenda is alive. It shows that he wants to hit the ground running. It shows that Nigeria can heave a sigh of relief, because we have people qualified, to help him deliver on the renewed hope mandate.
All right, so
that's my take on that.
All right, but do you have any thoughts as to the time it took? We ended up getting the ministers just at the cups of the deadline, and some came afterwards. And even at some points, just a day to the inauguration, there was some swapping of ministries, where we saw former Osun State Governor moving over to a new ministry, a brand new ministry in this administration. Yes. And another minister taking over transport and so on and so forth. Yeah. What do you make of this almost, will I call it, last minute dash to get in the deadline and, get the people he needs to do the work? Like I said earlier on, this is Nigeria. So you are looking out for the best and those that have the capacity to deliver. So, and in doing that, you need to cross-check and at the same time evaluate. He has a mandate to Nigerians. And right from when he came into office and the promise he made to Nigerians, yes, he may falter at a certain time, but then he wants to deliver a Nigeria that people will be proud of. So in so doing that, it's not about, hand-picking people, giving them portfolios that are strange to them. This man is very visionary. Remember, one of the things on the agenda of this government is how we can generate revenue. And that is why when you check what he did the first time he came into office is by removing the subsidy. A situation whereby almost 90% of your money goes into debt servicing, payment of salaries. There's no money for infrastructural development, no money for, kickstarting new projects. So he has to look at what should you do, what can you do, and how best can you serve the nation. So I'm not surprised when he moved, for instance, the Minister for Marine and Blue Economy, whom I see, Borga Etola, is somebody, a disciplinarian. He was a former governor, and is somebody that came in with quality, and we're going to see much of that, because that is one area I love so much. There's a lot of money on the Gulf of Guinea, and federal government have been losing a lot of revenue there. So this is a time for you to position the country on the path of growth. Now, coming down to oil and gas, you and I know that so much money is being lost there. Right now we've been depending on imports of petroleum products. Why is it our refineries are not working? You understand that when things go this way, you need to do a research. You need to find out. For 8 years, Buhari could not fix it. For 8 years, we could not build a new refinery. And for 8 years, we've been paying subsidies almost close to 3 to 4 trillion naira in every year. So if you check, how much does it take to build a new refinery? So by positioning people, technocrats and politicians in strategic positions, this man has an idea in mind. Let us generate money. So between the time he came into office and now, you agree with me that a lot of money has been saved by not paying this subsidy. Yes, we are feeling the pain quite all right. But it's a policy I see in the right direction. He is not the person that says he's going to remove the subsidy. Buhari has already written it right from June 1st upon handing over. He's done with subsidy, so it's left for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to deliver. And you know him as somebody who is well prepared for the task ahead and to hit the ground running. He did that. So I see square pegs in square holes. Okay, but at the same time, it is not. It's not going to be a tea party for any minister. It's something that he gives you a timeline, 3 months, 6 months, at the end of every year, we will review what you have done, how creative you are, what have you done for the ministry, what have you done to turn the economy around. So it's a huge assignment. So whoever is on board now, I can tell you is on probation. And even today, we are lucky to have the first FEC meeting with the cabinet. I see he has read some riot act to everybody. No, it's not going to be business as usual.
All right, let me just cut in. I'm sorry to cut in there.
Okay.
I think it's a bit of breaking news, so to speak. The special advisor to the President of Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, just released a press release. President Tinubu directs non-inclusion of federal government officials with no direct ONGA participation from traveling in Nigeria's delegation. As part of broader effort to reduce the cost of governance in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu has directed the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs to freeze the processing of visas for all government officials seeking to travel to New York for the United Nations General Assembly without proof of direct participation in ONGA's official schedule of activities. Is this part of what you refer to as the riot act?
You see, like I said, if you know President Bola Ahmed Tinubu very, very well, is somebody that he means every word he said, right from the time he came into office, right from the time he swore to that oath of allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He promised Nigerians the best. He did it in Lagos. And like I said, it's not a tea party. What are you going out for? To do what? You see, I believe in homegrown solutions to our problems. We can sit down here, plan, execute, and at the same time, come up with ideas that could help us move the nation forward. Everybody is important. You are doing your job. A lot of people should be doing their own. So should we go on a jamboree? Sometimes when these people travel, they go with Estoko, they go with people that are not even relevant to the trip and all that. So to me, I see it as a welcome. It's just a tip of the iceberg. What you're going to see from Mr. President. It's just one of those things we should be expecting.
But do you think it might have gone counter to the bulkiness of his cabinet? This is the largest cabinet we've seen in the history of Nigeria.
Thank you for that question. You see, we have too much problems in this country, and you need to open up the space to accommodate a lot of people. You don't allocate 2-3 ministries to one man. It doesn't work that way. He just like what happened during the last administration. Fashola was overstretched, manning 3 ministries. We don't want to see that happen again. There are a lot of qualified Nigerians that can deliver at any point. So it's like you allowing, the process of good governance. Everybody have a stake. Everybody has a role to play to deliver. And you need these people. It's not about being too much. But if you check, we have the Minister of State and we have the substantive minister. And we also have the coordinating minister of the economy. So you see the way he is managing the cabinet. And from all indications, Tinubu is always on point.
How do you mean?
Good. By giving you this portfolio, he's tracking you. He's following up on results. And like I said, every week during the FEC meeting, it is expected that you give in reports of what you have done. So there's going to be a lot of checks and balances to show that yes, we're up and running. And whereas you cannot deliver, there are a lot of people waiting, you know, because for all I know, it's just like a football match where you have the best players on the bench. There are a lot of people waiting to take over from you. There are a lot of people, you know, expatriates. There are so many people in the private sector ready to come in to serve. So by giving you this assignment, you should know that, yes, it's on track, he's tracking you, and he wants to get the best out of you. So I believe he has done the right thing for the first time for this country. Right, that's fair enough. Maybe we'll start to delve into some of these ministers. You spoke about coordinating and otherwise. Yes. Let's talk about the economy. This is one of the most important, and I believe people were poised to see who exactly the president was going to pick for Minister of Finance. And now we've had Wale Edun, and he's also coordinating Minister of Economy, and pardon me, is there's a way it's separated. You know, we have to. There's a lot of division and new terminologies now. Yes. We even have the Minister of Finance and coordinating Minister of the Economy. Yes, yes. What do you think about this appointment? You know, Wale Edun is a seasoned technocrat. You know, a financial expert, and he has been around for some years now. He has worked with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the past. He came in with a huge portfolio. Across board, a lot of Nigerians give Tinubu thumbs up for appointing Wale Edun into that position. Well, that does not mean that he's going to boss around or maybe hijack the process of governance. No, we are talking about the economy in itself. There are so many areas that require attention. There are so many policies that needs to be reviewed, especially taxation. And there are, if you see the way we manage our business today, there's a lot of leakage in the system. So you need to curb all these things. And apart from that, businesses are suffering today because of electricity. You know, gas is expensive, electricity is not in abundance and all that. So you find out there are so many people sabotaging the economy. And who are these people? And who should control these people? So now we have a man I would like to call, he's no longer about a cabal thing existing somewhere, giving him directives on what to do. He's the cabal himself. So he can tame the white tiger. So giving Wale Edun free role to manage the economy on behalf of Mr. President shows you that he believes in this man capacity. And when Nigerians need people like that, it's not about regional sentiment, it's not about name and all that. It's about what you are coming to do, your history, and going forward, what are those things you have in mind that can impact on Nigerians? So I think Wale Edun, for me, is the right man for the job. And it won't be long, given 6 months between now and at the end of the year, you see things fall into places. All right. There are a lot of ministers. Yes. I want to get your own picks. You know, everyone has people that they focus on. They feel these are the best of the best. These ones, I'm 100% sure they will deliver, and so on and so forth. Yes. I'm sure there must be some in particular that stand out for you that you believe are the, will I say, the squarest of pegs and the squarest of holes. So who are those persons? This is a very tough one, because I believe every one of them is good. I thought you were going to say that the ones that are top of the list for you. Well, let me start. Somebody I used to hold in higher esteem, talking about the former governor of Rivers State, Barrister Nyesom Wike. This man coming with a rich background, his experience as a two-time governor of Rivers State, coming to take charge for the FCT, even if our, let's say, our mentor Nasir El-Rufai was not able to make it into this cabinet, because I believe he knows Abuja very well. It's the person that I believe with giving him the FCT once again. We see another FCT, coming in. Would they have accepted it though? Well, he will. He would have accepted it, because he knows the FCT very well. He has the master plan. He was there before. But away from that,
give it to Nyesom Wike. But last week I was talking about Nyesom Wike, the challenges is going to face. First and foremost, you have the big politicians who have made a lot of money, bought properties here and there. Okay. You have to talk about the ex-servicemen, you know, the ex-generals and all that. These are people that own properties everywhere. You also talk about, the land racketeers. Well, a lot of people who are involved in land racketeering. We have to also look at former DGs, the PAMSECs and all this and that. And again, you have to look at the natives in the FCT. I see this as a huge challenge before Barrister Nyesom Wike, even within his own ministry. I advise that Wike should look out for square pegs and square holes, because there are some directors you need to work with. And come to think of it, that reminds me, before I go further on that, because I know he's a man of quality, I have never heard of anybody coming out to say, don't do publicity for me. I don't think it. Everybody is Wike is media friendly. I'm still researching into that, to find out if truly Wike really said that.
The comments on the billboards.
The comments on the billboard. I don't see that happening because Wike is media friendly. So I believe he should check. He should check the director in charge of communication there. It doesn't work that way. This is FCT, and we need publicity. This is not something that you continue to hide. Just like it happened in the past, so I'm not blowing your trumpet. We want to talk, there's a way you welcome Wike. Wike is a big fish in this administration. Remember, it's not even a member of the APC. Yeah. So, friends, well-wishers always want to welcome him. We are going to see more parties welcoming Wike to the Federal Capital Territory. So, for a director in the ministry to say, issue a statement that he condemns the erection of billboard welcome, I don't think I will accept that one from anybody. So, that is one. So, Wike to me, coming to Abuja, one, he knows he had to contend with this, all these problems. Check Abuja very, very well. There are so many uncompleted buildings, especially the PDP secretariat, which has been abandoned for years now. We need to check, because this is our government. What happened to the building? If it's obsolete, okay, let's auction it, or maybe we give it to somebody to manage it. We don't want to leave empty spaces in Abuja. Now, you also find out within the town here, you find out there are so many properties that have been developed, nobody occupying them. What happens? Because the rents are usually expensive, and you are sending civil servants away from the town. Ordinarily, if you look at the cost of living right now, it's on the high side. So why not make things reasonable for people to occupy these buildings? There are some areas you go to them, my brother. Go to Aegis. All these land racketeers, what they do is to clear your document, go to Aegis, perfect them, take over your property. It happens here in Abuja. So I advise Nyesom Wike to hit the ground running, set up a team that will review all these land allocations. Some of them clone CEO, some of them they have fake documents, using it to collect people's property in Abuja. So a lot is happening here that we want to draw the attention of Nyesom Wike to. We are ready to work with him on that aspect, because we want Wike to succeed. Not long he came into office, there were rumors that 6,000 buildings have been marked for demolition. A lot of places have been marked for. We don't want to threaten anybody. And at the same time, he made that Wike made a statement concerning these people, these low-income earners trying to survive on the streets of Abuja, selling corn and all that. My brother, it's not easy now. It's not because they want to do that, that's why they are there. They are there to make a living out of it. We should be creative in managing this because they are also stakeholders. You have the vulcanizers, you have the mechanics, you have the painters, a lot of people within the city trying to survive. Without them, how can we be in Abuja here? So everybody as a stakeholder, give them fair hearing, treat them well, and you say Abuja will become a better place. We should not bring in foreign influences and say, no, Abuja is for the elites, Abuja is for the super rich. No, it doesn't work that way.
We should plan Abuja in such a way that it could accommodate everybody. It should not hurt on anybody. You know, that's on one part concerning the minister there for Federal Capital Territory, talking about Nyesom Wiki. Then another minister I fancy so much is that of humanitarian and poverty alleviation, yeah. Dr. Betta Edo. You know her as a very good politician. She's a maverick. She's an Amazon. She was there while we were campaigning, you know, leading the campaign team during the elections and prior to the elections. You know, when you hear her speak, she's a female, she's somebody, I see her as the first model of this administration. She has a lot to deliver. You understand, in terms of managing the economy. We have so many poor people in the country today. She wants to give out palliatives to the people. She has a lot to do in that ministry. I think she has hit the ground running by reviewing the registrar, and she has assured Nigerians that she's going to deliver and live up to expectation. We're not going to see a situation whereby these palliatives will be warehoused, and some people will say, okay, it's our right, let's keep them as governors. You deal with the governors even before you get to the local officials. Let her work with the local council chairman. Let her work with the councillors, and better Edo, I see her as somebody that will succeed because she's ready for the job and she's working directly with Mr. President. We know what she has to deliver at any point in time. So she's got my support as well. Then we also talk about Mr. Vox talking about Dave Umahi. It's not new to the game. You know, as a two-time governor of Ebonyi State, he's coming with a track record. Remember what he said when he came in? These contractors will have over-bloated contracts. Year in, year out, they delay contracts so that they can inflate the figures for people to benefit from all these things. This is fraud. So he is coming to review them one after the other. And again, you come to think of it. We are producing cement locally. We have a lot of resources there. Why is it that the cost of cement goes as high as 4,700 naira per bag? He's reviewing all these things. Road construction is reviewing the project. A lot of things are taking place there in that ministry, and I see him as somebody who's going to succeed because, you know, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave him that mandate. He should go there, turn around the affairs of the ministry. But again, in routine, I will tell you, they are going to face challenges from the PAMSECs, from the directors, from the staffers of the ministries who want to sabotage the process and compromise.
Why would they want to do that?
Yes, this is an ongoing thing. If you're a contractor, go to these ministries. Those running these affairs are the directors, the PAMSECs and all that. They frustrate your effort. Sometimes you have to buy your way in. We don't want to see that happen. So we want to draw the attention of all the ministers chosen by this man to beware of some of these directors. We are not calling them bad names. We know there are good ones among them, but then let them not hijack the process. By the way, they have overstayed. Some of them have overstayed. About 500 of them have been given letters to go and leave. Why are they staying? What are they waiting for? So let them give space to others to come in. Then I also fancy the man I'm talking about, Boyega Etala, the man, you know, that's the man of the moment for me, because if you look at the agencies under his purview, we have the Marine, we have the NPA, we have the inland waterways and all that. There's a lot of potentials there for Nigeria to make a lot of money. And why are we seeing leakages? Why are we not seeing money coming from there, my brother? So I think with the way Mr. President is going about it, it's about you generating revenue for the nation. We don't want to borrow money henceforth. Let us stop that. Let us produce and let us export. Given the timeline which he has given us now, I see, you know, Warri Refinery coming on stream very soon, Kaduna Refinery, Port Harcourt Refinery. Let these refineries come on board. Let them start to work. Who are those sabotaging it? I know a lot about the petroleum industry. There are some saboteurs there.
Do you think this is something the president can take on completely? People say that if you decide to go all out on these persons, it can cause ripple effects because there are some vested interests that you have to navigate with some level of diplomacy and not outright antagonism. Do you think this is something the president can handle?
My brother, I'm talking about executive power. I'm talking about presidency. I'm talking about knocking off all cabals. Now, look at how Mr. President came into office. This man is a maverick in politics. It took him more than 30 years to plan to be here today as a president. So it's not as if he's been favored by a cross-section of people. He planned this way. He allowed the positions to thrive. Why? Because it's all about planning how to come into power. He has the mandate of the people to deliver. Remember, he struggled like any other politician. Not that there is 10 million margin, 5 million margin. No, just a little. And he got into power. Why? Because this man came with a master plan. Where are the cabals today? They've run out of the villa. So we have trust in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I have 100% trust in this man that this is the Messiah we're waiting for. All this while. Buhari tried, but they overpowered him. So because Buhari will give you assignment and trust you, say, okay, well, go, you can deliver, you can do it on behalf of other Nigerians. But this time around, we have somebody that will put you on your toes. Give me results, or you ship out. So there's nothing like cabal. There's nothing like you coming to hijack the process. How much have we spent on the power sector? 16 billion. How many billions of dollars went down the drain? Where's the power today? And you think you should not question these people? What happened to the CBN? Why did they arrest Emefiele? A lot of things are happening. What about the EFCC? Because there's compromise everywhere you go. And this man, you can't convince him in the villa that you want to do. He must question you. We want to see that happen. So I see Bola Ahmed Tinubu succeeding in this direction, madam.
All right, we'll delve much more into how President Tinubu has handled some issues within the period he's been in office. But just a little more on the issue of ministers before we move over. We have there's a particular ministry that seems to be conspicuously absent at the moment. Okay. The Minister of Youth. We don't have that yet, and there's a lot of back and forth. Initially, we had Mr. Momo in that capacity, and I believe due to the backlash and the reactions, perhaps the president had to reconsider that particular decision. Now that the post is vacant, what are your thoughts on it? Who do you think should take that position, and what do you think is really happening?
You see, I'm looking at it this way. When you are appointing the Minister for Youth, this is somebody that should have, the street knowledge. Let me use that word, street knowledge. Somebody that can network, somebody that come with a rich profile, somebody that's accessible, somebody that have, set an agenda, somebody that each time you mention his name, it resonates, somebody that has contributed so much to the progress of the party. And if you look at this, I look at two people here. Let me start by mentioning my friend, Izaura. It's not because he's just a friend, but if you look at his track record, why he was navigating his way in office in Kano, at the last count, when people are nominating ministers from Kano, I expect his name should be number one. When he came into APC, he came in with capacity. He started by giving scholarships to students, purchasing equipments for the fire service, medical supplies during COVID-19, vehicles for the 44 local government councils, construction of police station in Kano State, mobile clinics. He did a lot for the APC. In fact, he lifted APC from the ground to the top in Kano State. How many politicians did that? Between him and Barrow Jibrin, the Deputy Senate President today, even the Deputy Senate President can confess to you that this man did much, and he deserves a standing ovation. He deserves a mention when you are talking about building these new portfolios. But his name was not mentioned. Why is it happening that way? Because we believe maybe some people are not representing us well there. But I thank God that the national chairman today, Dr. Abdullah Ganduje, who we see him as a leader, will also recommend him to Mr. President. Because this man did what no other politician did in Kano State. That is on one side. Then look at a few weeks ago, there were reports that people were proposing that somebody, Sheikh Tinubu, should be considered for the portfolio as well. Is there anything wrong in that? Sheikh Tinubu, well, first and foremost, he has that immunity, being the son of Mr. President. Take that away. All through the campaign period, every part of this country that Tinubu traveled to, 36 states of the Federation, including FCT, Sheikh Tinubu was there, supporting Mr. President. It's not just supporting, giving out palliative, supporting young people here and there. How many? Okay, let me give you an example, or let me ask you this question. We have Atiku, we have Obi, we have other presidential aspirants. Did you see any of their family members during campaign? None of them came up. But this guy came up supporting his dad because he believes in Nigeria of our dream. But we've seen him during campaign period where he has done, to ginger the people towards supporting his dad. Today, the dad is the president. So leaving him to be roaming about the villa does not create value for us. There's so much you can do.
Capacity, though?
No, we don't want a situation whereby this analogy that yes, because he's the son of Mr. President, he will go to CBN and give them directives, or go to ministries and parastatal to influence contract. We don't want to see that happen. Give him that official portfolio, Minister for Youth, and see what will happen. So between these two people, whom I consider very credible, very, very credible, because it's not about today now. We are planning towards 2027 elections. And there's an agenda we have, as I'm talking to you right now, to bring in more than 5,000 youths into the APC for within the next 2 weeks. I don't want to deliver anything. Maybe during my next interview, I'll come to tell you it has been concluded. These are members of the opposition, because they see some of us on board, and they see Sheikh Tinubu, they see people like Zora, who has mentored a lot of people, and they are seeing the truth in Mr. President, what he's coming to do right now. So why should they wait for the next 4 years and stay in limbo? So I think for the first time we are seeing an administration, even if there are a lot of back channel communication, talking down Mr. President, the reality is that this man has hit the ground running and is going to shut out the doors. No more corruption, no more leakages, and I tell you, we're on the path of growth and greatness here.
All right, still on the issue of Minister of Youth. I don't know, perhaps there's a conspicuous omission there. I don't know. There are a lot of talks about Dayo Israel, the APC youth leader, being a strong contender. Do you think he's in the running at all?
Everyone is qualified. Okay, I'm not disputing that Dayo is also a good candidate, even if I didn't mention his name. But I'm looking at strategically what we need to look at right now is what we should do to bring in more votes ahead of 2020. In 2027, God willing, by election, by the time we kickstart our campaign in 2027, we want to see a total walkover. We want to believe no any other political party exists, because there's nothing to campaign about. That is on one side. Then number two, these people, you need to get connected to the grassroots. Okay, we have problem within the South. We have problem within the Southwest during the last election, but where we delivered the bulk of the vote was in the Northwest region, where Zora comes from. So there is an advantage there, and it's strategically, important for us to position somebody that will also, deliver development to the ground. He has over how many thousands of youths he's managing and all that under his purview. So give him that role. In the first place, you are trying to bring in the youth, because they believe they have a voice there, somebody they can connect with. That is the essence of looking deeply in the choice of those you are going to give the ministry to. I'm not faulting the dial, but what I'm looking at, I want a situation whereby we position the party ahead of the next election, so that we will not suffer too much, because a lot need to be done. We need to conquer Lagos, we need to conquer Kano, we need to conquer Port Harcourt. These are strategic places. Okay, so we need a very good team, or rather a team player that will help us deliver. So politically we have to look at this. It's very, very important.
All right. So final question on the issue of ministers, so we move over to some issues in Kano State and beyond. The criticism, the condemnations, or as some people call it, the rantings by opposition of his choice of cabinet. What do you have to say about that? I'll give an example. The Minister of Arts and Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa. There's a lot of talk about her, that she has admitted that she's a serving corps member, and that this should ideally not make her what's the word now, eligible to be a minister. These issues, what do you have to say about that?
In the first place, Hannatu Musawa is a Nigerian. She's the member of the APC. she's a politician, even if she's a lawyer. But again, during the campaign trail, she delivers so much for Mr. President and the party. That is a fact. Okay, she's still a serving corps member. That does not take away her right first as a Nigerian to contest and probably seek an elective office. She has that mandate. The Constitution empowers her to seek any position. Okay, now at the same time, look at it this way. Mr. President has the choice, has the mandate to choose who he or she wants to help him deliver at that level. So I don't see anything wrong about the opposition party talking down on Hannatu Musawa. So I believe that issue has been overflowed and has been taken care of. I don't see anything wrong in Hannatu. The only thing, the challenge she faces is that let her sit down, look at the assignment before her, and help Mr. President to succeed. Because if she fails, automatically it will come back to Mr. President as somebody who made the wrong choice. So I don't think there is anything wrong in the choice of Hannatu Musa. She's from Katsina State, from a very good family background. And she's somebody that is determined. She has been in the media space for some time now, talking about, nation building and good governance. So people like that, young people like that, you need to bring them on board to encourage them. They could be great leaders tomorrow. And that is what Mr. President is doing with Beta Edo and the other people. Most of the ministries you see today, most of the ministers, they are young people. So we want to see them, building up their career and becoming great people for the nation. You start from somewhere.
All right. Before now we head into some issues, particularly in Kano State, let me quickly hear your thoughts about President Tinubu's almost, I don't think it's up to 100 days yet, but we're approaching now. We have some key issues. The Niger coup aftermath, subsidy removal. We have the introduction of the 5 billion palliatives, I believe, which is meant to be amongst the states and so on. How do you think he has handled all of this?
Well, if you look at Kano, for instance, I can say there's a lot of pessimism in the air because the election petition tribunal cases have been concluded, in which APC tender 17 witnesses as against NNPP 1, because there is what I would choose to call the NNPP, the every day they are losing momentum. Why? Because the petitions submitted by APC, concerning the last election, has raised a lot of doubts and skepticism. Prior to the election, there were complaints of vote buying and all that, votes and all that. So it has reached a point that today in Kano, there's a lot of doubts in the air concerning the NNPP. Now, aside that one, last time I came here, I told you how Kano people are angry because of his approach towards governance. By pulling down structures and all that. This thing really affected him at the early part of his administration, because we warned him, we told him, you are starting the wrong way. You have not fully settled to business. It is wrong for you to start issuing threats. It's wrong for you to start pulling down structures and all that. Now look at the aftermath of that. People gang up against him. The NNPP today, as I'm talking to you, is on the low in Kano State. So there's a lot of pressure on him and all that. Now, away from that, you mentioned, yes, the Niger crisis. To me, Africans, as we are today, we don't welcome coup, because the democracy is young, we are building it, and there's no need for us to, sabotage the process. No matter what happened, we should endure. But at the same time, we should not throw away the baby and the bathwater. What do I mean by that? We should find out, rather have a dialogue like Mr. President is doing now as the chairman of the ECOWAS, committee, and advising, and at the same time sending delegations to Niger Republic to have a dialogue with the junta. This is quite important. You need to listen to both sides of the divide and see how you can balance it. We don't support the war situation, because if you look around, the areas, the border areas around Niger Republic, it's very dangerous for you to start any war now. It was to have a spillover effect on the border areas around Nigeria. Niger people and the coastal the areas around Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa up to Kano, they are living like one family. These are inseparable companions. So starting a war there automatically will have a spillover effect on the northern part of Nigeria. So I believe Mr. President in his wisdom should manage that very, very well, and so that we don't have to have just like what happened in Libya and other places and all that. So he should be able, and I believe he's doing something about it. He's more intelligent than us. He sees more than what we are seeing and all that. Then you also mentioned the palliatives, yes, which is one area that worries me a lot. In the last administration, yes, Buhari tried so much for Nigerians, but again, especially during the COVID-19 period, what happened? These food items find their way to the warehouses. The governors, the former minister handed these products to the governors in all the states of the federation. What happened? Did they share these products to the people? Did it get to those that matters? The answer is no. And you begin to find out what is their thought about their people. Okay, you are not giving it out. The federal government dish out these things to you, and you sabotage the process. So we don't want to see that happening, and that is why we are looking at how we can break down the components of governance. The governor have their own role to play. It's their jurisdiction to cater for the welfare of their people. Every month you are giving your monthly allocation by the presidency, rather by the federal government. What are you doing with these funds? How are you managing these resources? That is why you have uprising every day. So if the governors are managing their states very well, and I can give you a typical example like a Borno state governor. It's all on the spotlight on a daily basis. Why is it trending? Others are not trending. Wike did it in Lagos, in Rivers. Sanwo-Olu is doing it in Lagos. Well, Ganduje did it in Kano. How he managed Kano is just it's with wisdom. So sometimes you see that most of our governors who are supposed to have supported, this democracy to thrive, they are busy sabotaging it. With due respect to them, but under this administration, Tinubu is not quick to deliver money to you. He wants to he wants to be sure this money, if it's delivered to you, you execute according to plan. Recently, there are a lot of backtalk about the 5 billion naira palliative sent to various states of the federation. Some were saying we didn't see the money. Others say we have received our money and all that. Well, there's a meeting point. You do a checklist. If your money is hanging, you know where to start from. You have the Auditor General or rather Accountant General of the Federation. You can, get in touch with, or the CBN. Why is my money not available? Money available. Mr. President have pronounced it. So the money goes to you aside other monies that were sent to you. So this one is strictly for palliatives, and palliatives should be well defined. What do I mean by well defined? This money is not for politicking. This money is to, help cushion down the effects of this subsidy. And if you execute this thing very well, it will go a long way impacting on the lives of the people, like what is happening in Borno State today. I think is the governor of the century, as far as I'm concerned, for what he's doing in Borno State today. Other governors, you emulate him. We shouldn't be too selfish. Okay, this is why we are saying there's a whole lot that needs to be done. Under this administration, we'll continue to talk, and we'll continue to be a spy to Mr. President. We need to report back to Mr. President. We are urging the Nigerian Press Council and our journalists to help us in delivering good governance. This is my take on that.
Right, that's fair enough. Let's go now into Kano. There's an issue that has been trending and causing a lot of controversy. I don't know if you can break it down for us. That is the 854 million naira approved for weddings. That's how it's been reported. What's really going on there? What's the 854 million naira meant to achieve?
I learned of that some few weeks ago. It's not unusual for the government to support families and all that. But what is unusual in this regard is the fact that, one, you see, we are still battling to survive. the state of the economy is really difficult for many families now. And at the same time, Kano State today, there are so many issues begging for attention. You need to think about students' welfare. You need to think about, the backlog of salaries that have not been paid. You need to talk about pension and arrears. There are so many things that require urgent attention now. So if you are going to, how do you spend this money? I was questioning one of my friends in Kano. 854 million naira is close to 1 billion naira. Okay? How do you share this money? Are you giving each family 1 million naira? That is the question I keep asking. Are they desperate to marry? These are widows. Okay? Why is it that they can't is it politically motivated? No, you have to do a kind of check why this money is made available and what is meant for. Fine. For me, if I want to do such a thing, that's okay. One, each family, let me give out, say, 1 million naira. 50,000 for dowry, 150,000 naira maybe for rent if you don't have a house. Now the 800,000 I put it in a bank, maybe a community bank. Okay, go there, give me your business plan and access this fund. And if you access this fund and use it judiciously, you pay back this money maybe after 5 years. It's not your personal money. So what I see the government doing right now in Kano is that dipping hand into the coffers, dishing out money freely to people under this dispensation. It's not supposed to be like that. It's not his money. Okay, so I think the federal government should wade into this matter, and the people in Kano State should question the rationale behind that, because I see that as wastage. It's not supposed to happen at this point in time, and even if it's going to happen, it's not going to be free for everybody. Okay, there are other people. What about students that just graduated for university? They don't have a job. What provisions do you have for them? Okay, what about those that are trading today, that shops got burnt and all that? What are you offering to? There are a lot of people that require support. So what is the government doing about it? So setting aside this money, I don't think it's necessary at this point in time. It's wastage to me.
Right, that's fair enough. You spoke about holding government accountable.
Yes.
These are some of the things we would always like to get clarification and broadening on. Perhaps one day we can sit side by side with the NNPP party members so we can speak. Yeah. Well, let's talk about other things in Kano. You gave an insight into President Tinubu's will I say his successes or his travails so far in office. Let's talk about Kano State, Abba Yusuf.
Abba
Kabir Yusuf.
That's the governor.
Yes. Let's talk about education, infrastructure, poverty, policy direction. What's your take on these things?
Well, I don't expect too much from him. Just like any other person. When he assumed power, I expected that the first thing is you have a template you are going to work with. You have a master plan. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm going to do. And these are the people that help me, succeed. But a situation whereby you start on the wrong foot, you start cutting enemies for yourself. So that is the first problem which I see he had with a lot of people. And it was very difficult for him. And as I'm talking to you right now, there is a divided opinion concerning his administration. This is not what we expected from him. You are lucky to have taken over from the APC government, which is strange. And with the support of your leader, Engineer Dr. Rabi Musa Konkoso, who stood by you to have won this election. What are you supposed to do? First, you show appreciation to the people, and at the same time, warm people to your heart so that you can carry everybody along. So, when you look at Kano, for instance, in terms of education, yes, we have a deficit, no doubt about that. Recently, I like what he did by offsetting the bills of those in Bayero University because they jack up the registration fees by almost 50%. He did. I like what he did by supporting almost with almost 700 million naira. That's a good one. But then you have to look at the state of the primary schools, the secondary school, and all that. And he came up recently by saying he's withdrawing the licenses of the private school operators, which is another slap on the face of the people. Because one, if you are going to withdraw these licenses, what's next for the private school? We have so many students in the private schools today because the public schools have failed. We don't have capacity to manage the public schools. So private schools, has become an option to many people today. The money they are paying is not so much. So withdrawing their licensing and all that, may cause some ripple effect in Kano State. So I believe Abba Kabur, I don't know his advisors and I don't know who. That is why, you see, when you are coming on board, you put politics aside. Look out for people, that has the required experience to help you deliver.
So
I'm not saying
just to cut in, that's what I was just about to ask. Just as we saw President Tinubu take someone like Governor Wike into his cabinet.
Yes.
Are you saying none of the such is happening in Kano, where the governor is reaching out across party lines to ensure success?
Look, I will not lie to you. I have some friends, I believe, that in NNPP. Even when he was making his appointment upon assumption of office, I was expecting big names to come on board. And these are people, with so much experience that can help him succeed. Now, a situation whereby, some party loyalists, you're offering them appointment are well ahead of the professionals. It shows you're not serious about business. You're not serious about governance. What are you more concerned about those who are going to boss around, or you should be more concerned about those that can help you succeed? Okay, I think that's the first mistake Abba Kabir Yusuf made, and that is why now, if you look at it, it's like movement without motion in Kano State, and at the same time, there's a gang up against Abba Kabir Yusuf, especially from the private sector. When you come out, with the policies, okay, I'm going to stop whoever invested this money in Kano State this past years, okay, it's now a big loss to you. What happens? Some people borrow money from the banks to build these infrastructures. So what happened to them?
Are you saying this gang up, as you call it, is reactionary? Or?
Yes, certainly, because I'll give you an example. I acquire a property in Kano State. Maybe I borrow money, say like 50 million from the bank to help me develop this property with an agreement to pay within the next 5-10 years. And all of a sudden, with my CFO and everything, so you revoke this you revoke my CFO, and what should I tell the banks? The banks on their own to withdraw their services from you, and that is why he's struggling to pay salaries. He's struggling to attract new friends to Kano State, struggling to attract investment to Kano State. So Kano is at a standstill because of that singular act, and I don't see him succeeding, except he should go back to the drawing board, apologize, and return these properties to their owners, and that way he can begin to see development in Kano State. Otherwise, honestly, I see him struggling in Kano State.
All right. Like you said, we'll hope even without his invitation, we'll see more persons proffering solutions even from outside.
Yeah.
So what do you think we can expect from the governors? Now, we spoke about palliatives earlier, talking about the Kano State governor now. What are the complementary roles, that we should be expecting in terms of engaging professionals and so on?
You mean for the governors of the 36 states of the Federation?
Yes.
Well, it's a huge task. If you look at the states of the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, each state has its own uniqueness, okay, by virtue of how they came into power. There are some states who go to in the southeast today, they are trying to stay balanced up because of the stay-at-home order, being introduced some years back by somebody who is somewhere who cannot see his face. But I think that's a big challenge for those in the southeast area. For instance, they are still battling on how to, recover from that effect. It's very shocking when you lose one business day for the week, and at the same time, investment that's supposed to come to southeast is no longer happening because one, you have already put in fears in the minds of the people. So I believe the governors in the southeast, from what I'm seeing, for me, Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo is the one I see performing miracles today. He's on top of his game. Okay, the Abia State Governor Uti is supposed to sit down for his administration. He's just moving here and there. I don't know what he's doing in other places. Okay, Governor Obaseki, Edo State, is having running battle with his deputy Philip Shaibu. That is not healthy for our democracy, because I believe there's supposed to be a transition. When you are leaving, somebody should take over from you after understudying you for 7 years. It's expected that you give him the benefit of the doubt. Philip Shabo, come, let's have a talk with you. Are you ready for this, or should I look for someone else? If you are ready, there should be an agreement, because Philip Shabo fought for him to be there. So we expected that with I think there is something going on. Is it a symposium, or there's an event taking place in Edo State right now? They should use this opportunity to mend fences, so that at least somebody of high quality should come in to take over from Obaseki when he leaves office. Right. And other parts of the country, well, these are challenges, but the most important thing is within these 100 days, they should do a checklist. And at the same time, they should think of what they can do in complementing the effort of Mr. President, who has hit the ground running. All right, let's end the note on that, the issue of the President. Expectations from the federal government, if you can round it up, is just about a minute or two. Well, I have spoken so much about that. Mr. President is a man of quality. He's experienced enough to handle. He came in with a master plan. And I can assure you, from now to the end of the year, you'll see a new Nigeria of your dream. A Nigeria you'll be proud of. A Nigeria that you can stand tall and say, okay, yes, this is my country. In all facets of human development. The last time I came here, I told you President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will win with the 2023 elections. He did, he won. Today I can tell you here, right from here, that Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will deliver for the good of Nigerians. All right, thank you so much, Iceman. Garba, it's been great having you on the program. It's always a pleasure, the way you break things down. Thank you so much. I can see you're very optimistic, and definitely we'll bring you back to update us on the level of your optimism and how much the administration is delivering on your hopes. This is my favorite station. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. All right, that's all we can take on the program for today. I realize we're having issues with our tab, but do remember that we come to your TV stations or your TV sets every weekday, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. The Polity reaches you live from Abuja. Don't remember, you can call in to make your contributions and ask your questions. See you tomorrow. Bye for now. I'm Amadin Ogbewe.